Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Bruce Carrington says he needs to perform better, and he wants Angelo Leo next. The WBC featherweight champion defeated Rene Palacios by a clear UD in his first title defense this past Saturday night, but didn't look particularly impressive. For large stretches, the jam-packed crowd at Wolstein Center in Cleveland booed Carrington for his lack of an offensive attack. This was in the later rounds, because he started off all right. Also, the New York native appeared to get dropped in the 8th, but referee Harvey Dock ruled it a slip. And in the 11th, Carrington was visibly hurt by a body shot, forcing him to hold.
He was
Fading down the stretch. He didn't give himself a good grade afterwards, probably a C, Carrington told several reporters. There's certain things that I could have done more. At the end of the day, I just did what I did to get the win. I could have thrown more combinations and used my angles, but I got the win, so that's all that matters. Every fight isn't gonna be easy. He's a good fighter, tough guy, strong guy. There are the type of fights that I grow from. I'm gonna learn from it and go to the next level. The competition doesn't figure to get any easier as Carrington seeks to add to his hardware.
Still saying he wants to unify.
He's open to facing any of his fellow featherweight champions, Angelo Leo, Brandon Figueroa, and Rafael Espinoza, but if the decision were his and his alone, Leo would be next. I've been wanting that fight for a long period of time, Carrington said. The business just has to make sense, but I would like to fight him next, and hopefully he does, because he's running out of time. As a featherweight, being 28 or 29 years old, his body is beginning to betray him, and the longer he stays there, the worse it's going to get. What makes sense that Bruce has gradually outgrown this division is that he started off the fight all right. In the beginning, Rene Palacios couldn't do anything with him. It's not until the later rounds that Bruce starts to slow down, starts getting hit, and what that makes sense is not a tactical issue, not a strategy issue, but a cardio issue.
A physical one.
I'll forgive Bruce Carrington for not becoming this division's inaugural undisputed champion in the four-belt era, as none of the other champions seem all that keen on unifying, so I'm not going to pigeonhole him for it, but it would be a great shame if his campaign at 126 comes and goes without at least one unification match. That's all he's got to do for me. Just one unification match. He's already ticked off on all the other necessary boxes. He's gone from prospect to contender to world champion. Now all he's got to do is unify.
That's it.
He doesn't yet have that signature fight, that signature scalp, that makes sense. He's above average, above ordinary.
I don't like his chances against Rafael Espinoza. Rafael is too big with too much firepower. Something similar might apply to Brandon Figueroa, who I've never had a high opinion of, but so long as Bruce is gassing out in the later rounds, that makes Brandon a dangerous fight, because Brandon is a pressure guy. He throws punches and bunches. Every time you're not throwing punches, he is.
It's another dangerous fight for Bruce. The one that I'm confident that he can win is the Angelo Leo fight, because Angelo, he's not all that big a guy for featherweight. He's moderately sized. I think Bruce would be a little bit taller, a little bit longer, a little bit faster, at least in the beginning.
Sharper.
If there is a unification match that he can have and he can win, it would be that one, to where maybe he can amass an early lead while he's still sharp, bank enough rounds that even if he does fade down the stretch, he can still win on points.
They've got to make Angelo an offer. It's not enough to just say it in interviews after the fight. You have to do something.
Get in contact with that guy, talk to his people, make it happen. Most of the big-time promoters have all converged on DAZN, making it the home of big-time boxing. So put together a big-time boxing match in the featherweight division. I'm pretty sure that it would be less expensive than what they've been doing in other divisions with other fighters.
Featherweights generally don't make that much.
So it doesn't usually cost that much to employ them. To put together a unification match between Bruce and Angelo, I think would be less expensive than whatever they're spending on Teofimo and Rolly.
Or whatever was spent on Teofimo and Shakur.
So just get the goddamn fight done. And if they do, I've got Bruce, and I've got Bruce on points.
Upstairs in the lightweight division, Lamont Roach predicts he'll stop William Zepeda in their WBC title fight for what is the WBC title that Shakur Stevenson was stripped of.
Lamont Roach says he plans to become the first fighter to stop William Zepeda when they meet for the vacant WBC lightweight title August 1st. The former world champion believes his recent controversial results have made one thing clear: he can't leave the fight in the judges' hands.
2 back-to-back draws with Gervonta Davis and Isaac Cruz. That's where that comes from.
Zepeda's never been stopped, but I think I can do it. I think I could do it, Roach said during an interview with Brian Cluster. Roach enters the fight following consecutive draws against Gervonta Davis and Isaac Cruz. He said those results convinced him he needs to leave less in the hands of the judges. We've just got to step it up. We've got to start punishing these guys even more, and stepping on the gas in certain instances to seal the deal or even get him out of there, Roach said. The prediction stands out because Zepeda has built his reputation on relentless pressure, high punch output, and durability. The unbeaten Mexican has never been stopped and has consistently worn opponents down over the second half. Roach, meanwhile, has typically relied on timing, movement, and combination punching rather than one-punch power. His biggest wins have come through boxing skill, making his confidence about stopping Zepeda one of the more notable claims from the interview. Despite the challenge ahead, Roach spent much of the conversation discussing potential fights beyond August 1st. He mentioned possible matchups with Shakur Stevenson, Gary Antoine Russell, Keyshawn Davis, and Richardson Hitchens, while also saying he believes a win over Zepeda would move him into the pound for pound.
Does that check out? Does that qualify?
So let's say that Lamont Roach actually pulls this off and not only beats William Zepeda, but he knocks him out. That would in effect make him a 2-weight world champion, having pried the WBA title from then-champion Hector Luis Garcia.
Potentially beating William, it's a decent argument, but perhaps not the strongest, because William isn't actually the WBC champion. What they're fighting for is a vacant title. It would be a lot stronger if it were a champion that he were fighting.
Don't go saying that I'm setting the bar too high. The current occupants of the Ring IQ pound-for-pound list, how do you think they got there?
Do you think he can stop William?
Anything is possible. Where there is a will, there is a way. Nobody ever did anything that was hard to do by telling themselves that they couldn't do it. So Lamont Roach at least has the right idea. He doesn't want to leave it in the judges' hands. He doesn't want to let them decide.
How does he do it then?
You gotta catch him in between, which is easier said than done. Against a guy who barrels forward, squares up, and throws punches in bunches like William, he's gonna give you plenty of countering opportunities, but you have to be careful to pick the right ones, because for every punch you try to counter, there's another one coming right behind it, and another, and another.
As such is the earmark of the pressure fighter, and that's what William Zepeda is. Coincidentally, that's what Isaac Cruz is. So you could argue that the fight that Lamont Roach just had with Isaac was a good rehearsal for the fight that he's about to have with William.
A few differences aside, the pace that Isaac Cruz sets for a fight and what he wants to do in a round is the exact same thing with William. The difference, however,
William's pressure is more educated, his punching technique.
it's better than Isaac's. With Isaac, what you get are a lot of wide, sweeping punches that you can weave under, punches that are telegraphed, punches you can see coming, even if they're really hard.
He's limited.
His punching technique is not the best, whereas William's, it actually is a bit better. The hooks, the uppercuts, the shots from William are more compact, more tight, thus more difficult to counter.
So if what you want to do is work off the counter and catch him in between, it's a bit harder to do that with William than it is with Isaac.
Tack on that William is a bit harder to get away from because he's a bigger guy than Isaac. He's a bit taller, a bit longer, which gives him more ring coverage.
Harder to get away from.
Fighting a pressure fighter like William is tantamount to a balancing act. Balancing offense and defense, because you can't just sell out with him, sit there in the pocket, trading punches until one of you falls down. Then you're just giving him what he wants. At the same time, you can't just run from him either. To the judges, it's gonna look like he's outworking you.
So you have to find that happy medium between offense and defense where you're getting off your shots, but you're still protecting yourself adequately.
Now, understanding what needs to be done doesn't make it any easier to do, but that's the balancing act Lamont Roach has got to perform. Execute. And he's not a power guy. He wasn't a power guy at 130. I don't think he's those things now at 135. So hurting William, it's gonna take some doing.
And he's got to be mindful of his own energy reserves while performing this balancing act, because the pace that William sets for a fight is a frenetic one. Very few guys can keep up with him, and if he's actually landing his punches and doing damage, he's taking the air out of the tires.
Well, that would make this balancing act that much harder to perform, wouldn't it?
Lamont says, I really want to put a beating on him. Either way, whether it's life or death, whether it's a boxing lesson or whether I knock him out in the first round, I'm getting my hand raised, says Roach.
The saving grace for Lamont is that he's exceeded expectations more than once. The bookies favored him to lose the Gervonta Davis fight, but he drew. And it was the same thing with Isaac Cruz.
I think he was the betting favorite too.
What else he has working for him is that William Zepeda has not boxed since the loss to Shakur Stevenson. If my memory serves me, the night of the fight, it will have been 1 year's time since William fought Shakur. Now fighting Lamont, he might have some ring rust.
The fuck took him so long to come back?
I'm not sure. Probably spending all that money that he made losing to Shakur on a card that was paid for by the Saudis. Maybe it was that.
Maybe.
Really intrigued by this fight and very much looking forward to it because it's not overpriced like what else DAZN has on schedule, but it's just as good, if not better, than some of those fights. Genuinely intriguing for all the right reasons.
And this is going to be yet another card that DAZN shares with TNT as a result of their arrangement and TNT's the quote-unquote fight series.
It's turned out to be a pretty good one when you think about it. The fights that they've shared have been aesthetically pleasing fights.
Keyshawn Davis versus Nair Albright was all right. Abdullah Mason versus Albert Bell, now that one was a bit better, and I feel like this fight with Lamont Roach and William Zepeda will be even more entertaining than those fights were.
I believe the arrangement they've reached calls for 4 cards annually, just like this one. This is going to be the 3rd. You gotta wonder who they're going to have on the 4th and final card they share this calendar year. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, veteran promoter Bob Arum says,
Canelo belongs on a golf course, not versus Mbilli. Not in the ring.
Arum told Ring Magazine,
I think Alvarez is finished.
Arum is certainly biased with his assessment of Alvarez, who turns 36 later this month. After all, the fighter he co-promotes in the WBC super middleweight champion Christian Mbilli will make his first defense against him in October.
I've no idea if Alvarez should retire or not, but I like Mbilli in the fight.
Mbilli, 29-0 with 1 draw and 24 knockouts, is coming off a hard-fought split draw against Lester the Molester Martinez in September of the previous year. The fight took place on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez's loss against Terence Crawford at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. In that way, they're both coming off of lengthy stints of inactivity, so it's a question of who is the time off going to affect more, Christian or Canelo?
Really not on the same boat, Christian and Canelo. Where Christian is still young and fresh and all in his prime, Canelo is exiting his.
Alvarez has not fought since dropping his undisputed super middleweight crown to the undersized Terence Crawford, who jumped up 2 weight classes to beat the Mexican star, and he hasn't fought since, having an elbow surgery, in between. An adequate time to recover, which explains why Canelo Alvarez skipped his characteristic Cinco de Mayo fight date.
He needed that time to recover, fully recover, so that he doesn't go into the Mbilli fight with any nagging injuries. Rushing yourself back to the ring, you're going to go in there at less than 100%.
So it was important for a Canelo Alvarez in his mid-30s to give himself enough time to fully recover.
I'm not surprised that Alvarez looked bad against Crawford. Terence is a great fighter. Canelo's been a tough guy and a good fighter, but not a great fighter on the level of Crawford, who's totally unique and very skillful. Crawford has all of their numbers.
Alvarez is ranked number 1 by the ring at 168 and finds himself in unfamiliar territory as a contender without a crown for the first time since 2015. Mbilli is rated 2 places below him at super middle, with a series of intriguing names monitoring the situation closely, including the new WBO champion Hamza Shiraz and IBF champion Oslis Iglesias.
The likeliest candidate out of those two to land a Canelo Alvarez fight, should Canelo win, is Hamza Shiraz. He's got the inside track with Turkey LL Sheik. he's one of Turkey's favorites.
Coincidentally, Canelo Alvarez is the betting favorite going into the Mbilli fight as a negative 300 to Mbilli, who's a plus 230 underdog, according to DraftKings. Though, of course, those numbers might have more to do with the fighter that Canelo Alvarez has been than the fighter that he is today, because there are many lingering questions hanging above his head. This guy, Mbilli, is the kind of guy that he normally looks good against. Pressure guys play right into Canelo Alvarez's patented counterpunching, but at 36 years old and a year removed from the sport, having had a surgery in between, does he still have what it takes to fight a guy like this off?
Bob doesn't think so. Bob thinks he should be hitting the links, enjoying his retirement.
Bob thinks Canelo Alvarez is finished, but of course, he's got skin in the game, so you can't necessarily take it from him.
What do I think?
Well, if you want to know what I think, and you're here, so I'll assume that you do, it's not a cut and clear matter. It just isn't. It can't be. Where Canelo Alvarez normally does well against pressure fighters, he's also getting older. I mean, we all are. It's not just a boxing thing, it's a life thing.
You really don't get faster as you get older. You don't get sharper. You don't get stronger. It's entirely possible that after close to 70 fights, in his mid-30s, Canelo Alvarez is in decline. And maybe fighting a guy like this is too much for him at this point. We don't know.
At the same time, for a fighter with as much wear and tear as Canelo Alvarez, the extra time off might have been to his benefit, allowing him to fully recover. Instead of rushing himself back to the ring to fight on a particular date, taking that extra time off might have been just what the doctor ordered.
The fight between him and Christian has since been pushed back from September to October, so that's that much more time for Canelo Alvarez to rest, recover, and get ready.
Why'd it get pushed back?
It's not because anybody's injured, otherwise we would have heard about it by now. I think it's because Ryan Garcia's fight with Conor Benn is supposed to be happening in September, and maybe the event coordinators didn't want one event to cannibalize the other.
I'm just guessing.
But the story is that the fight getting pushed back to October wasn't as a result of anybody getting injured.
This is a genuinely intriguing fight, because if history is any indicator of things to come, then Christian Mbilli, in spite of his youth and freshness, is made to order for Canelo. If history is any indicator of things to come.
Big if.
But Father Time is undefeated, and he comes for us all, so it's no different when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. It's not just Christian Mbilli that he's going to be fighting in the fall. It's the gradual decay of time.
It's the wear and tear of approximately 70 professional bouts, Canelo having been a professional boxer since age 15. It's a lot.
Curious to see what's gonna happen.